guys, welcome back to my IGTV. Today's small talk is going to be about anxiety and panic attacks. I feel like in my experience with anxiety, I don't think a lot of people really understand what it feels like and what it is like to go through. And I feel like it's one of those things where you only really understand it when it's actually happening to you. And someone that suffers with anxiety, it's harder to speak about it, like, because you don't want to talk about it because you don't think people are going to understand it. So today's episode, I kind of wanted to talk about my experience with it, and also ways to deal with panic attacks when you're actually going through it, and just give people a bit more understanding on it. So to start with, I have had anxiety for since I was in secondary school. I used to get really worried about a lot of things. Like, if somebody said they wasn't talking to me, it was the end of the world, and I think most people have gone through that sort of thing. But the way I reacted to it was very different. I would almost break. It was like taking a glass and smashing it is how I was inside when things that would worry me would happen. But it kind of shifted away for a while, and it was mainly just depression and dealing with that. I think with depression, it's you're very low in mood. With anxiety, everything's heightened. So it's like, while I was dealing with depression, it was very different. It was two different things, and it's like anxiety kind of just disappeared. It went to the background sort of thing. And then maybe 2 years ago, anxiety got a lot worse for me. It was actually crippling, to the point where I remember going out with my friends, and there'd be times where we'd go and get food. We was making an order, and I'd be to one of my my close friends, yo, I can't order. I'm so I was just nervous to even for my voice to talk to anybody else. I was nervous going to somebody and speaking to them for the first time, or making friends, leaving the house. Things just became really bad, and it was horrible. And then it took a really bad turn when I left my job, which was 2017. I left my other job, and when that happened, I was having anxiety towards my health. So anything that would happen to me, I'd think I was dying. I'd have conversations with my mum for 2 hours about the same thing. It was almost manic. I couldn't sleep, I couldn't eat. I was awake. I was waking up in the middle of the night. My mum would probably be the better person to talk to about that, because I know that I know it was hard. But yeah, it was also very draining as well. But yeah, by the grace of God, it's not my portion anymore. Hallelujah. But yeah, there's different levels when it comes to anxiety. I learned a lot about what anxiety actually is when I went to therapy. So I did CBT therapy, which is cognitive behavioural therapy, and it basically breaks down all of the things, all of the information, the factual information about what anxiety actually is, and it gives you ways to cope with it. But it's also very, I don't know if interactive is the word, but it's very interactive. There's things that you have to do in order to get better with anxiety. So for instance, my thing was, I found it really hard to talk to people. So if I was out, to go and order a drink, or to go and talk to a person. And I work in I'm head of talent relations in my media team, so I need to be that person that's interactive with people, going to talk to them. And I'm a completely different person now, but in that time, even my team, they was come on, E, what are you doing? Bizzle, what are you doing? And I just couldn't do it. There was nothing in me that could actually do it. With panic attacks, it's very intense. Some people act differently to it. For instance, some people, it can be it builds up and builds up and builds up and builds up. And then some people, it can literally be you're panicking, you're having a panic attack. That. There's no building up to it. Mine was it built up. So it was easier for me, because I could notice when I'm going to have a panic attack, and I could try and control it and decrease how I'm feeling, so that I didn't have a full-on panic attack. Ways that you can deal with anxiety. You can talk to somebody who really understands what you're going through, or at least understands you as a person and has love for you, because then they'll want to understand. It doesn't feel as hard, and I think that is where it can be frustrating, is when somebody doesn't really understand or want to understand what you're going through and dwarfs how you're feeling about it. You can go to counselling. I went to counselling 2 times in my life for anxiety, when I was younger and then when I was older, and the one that actually worked was CBT. I do have a book that my mum got me before I got to counselling, because I needed to, because it was becoming really, really bad, my anxiety. Like, I started to get depressed about the anxiety, and then I started to get suicidal because of the anxiety, and I didn't like how I was feeling. So I got this book. I'm going to show you. See, it might be backwards, it looks backwards to me, but I don't know. It's Starving the Anxiety Gremlins. It's like a work through book. It gives you like things of like how you can like work through panic attacks, physical symptoms and stuff like that, like phobias, specific phobias. It's an amazing book, like honestly, it's amazing. It really did help me. So I will try it. I don't know, if you want it, just DM me and I'll send you the link. Actively doing things that make you feel uncomfortable. I had to push myself completely out of my comfort zone. I had to push myself into doing certain things. Like when it comes to church, I'm part of like guest ministry, so that like once a month when I have to go on stage, it's like the worst thing for me. Like the way my brain does a madness on that Sunday. But every time after, it makes me feel so much better. It makes me feel stronger because I've done it, and really understand anxiety, like really get all of the information on it. Like there's so much that I didn't know about anxiety, and like how your body is physically reacting, and it's adrenaline, and if you're constantly anxious about something, it's your what did she say? Your adrenaline's just in overdrive, so then it can make you feel down, and that's why like there's just so many things that I didn't understand. I just thought I was going crazy. Like I literally thought I was going nuts. These are some ways that I dealt with panic attacks, and like when I've spoken to like friends and like spoken to people about it, they've dealt with it. Me personally, because I know when my like anxiety is increasing, as soon as I feel a certain type of way, I take myself away from that situation completely. And majority of the time, I'll like go away and I'll just talk to God. I'll just talk to God about how I'm feeling. It distracts my mind, and I'm just completely just need to be away from it. Like I just talk to God, speak to Him, ask for strength. Some people listen to music. One thing that I did do, I would close my eyes and I'd imagine a wave going in and going out, and going in and going out, and to each in I would breathe in, and each out I would breathe out, and that would literally calm me down. So yeah, my advice to anybody who knows somebody that is suffering with anxiety and doesn't really have, hasn't been through it themselves, I would probably say to do as much research as possible on it, and really understand like what they're going through, and really empathize with how they're feeling, or try to. It's hard to understand. I know it's hard to understand because I feel like it's hard to explain as well. So I'd say definitely just make sure you're educating yourself on it, because you don't want to go to that person and not let them feel like they're heard, and also not be able to give the right advice and things like that. So yeah, this was my small talks with me. I hope that it helps somebody. Hope if it does, let me know. DM me. Like, I'm just here to help people at the end of the day. That's literally all I feel tasked to do. So I shall be back in a week. I want to make this a weekly thing. So yeah, and I think I'm going to carry it on even after lockdown's done. But yeah, if you have anything that you want me to talk about, let me know. Hit your girl up, and I will try and help as much as I can. So I will see you next time. Ciao.